You are now tuned in to the Stellar Spotlight, a Stellar Awards digital series, straight from the source.
Well, in terms of the industry, it was just sort of a natural journey from church. I'm a preacher's kid. My stepfather was a preacher. So I grew up playing for church. I was playing for his church by the time I was 7. And I had established my own gospel group with all the neighborhood children by the time I was 11, called the Richard Smallwood Singers. So, my mother tells me before I left the crib and before I could start talking, I would be humming melodies that I heard at church. So it was, I guess, a natural progression. And I remember as a kid putting on recordings of the then, gospel greats and pretending I was in the group and looking in the mirror and pretending like I was singing in front of, thousands and thousands of people. So it was sort of a natural, progression. And of course, when I went to Howard, I went to McKinney High School and they had a music program. So I majored in music in high school. And then I became a classical piano major when I went to Howard. And of course, I was one of the founders of Howard's Gospel Choir in 1969. And even before then, I joined a group called the Celestials, which were members of, they were students at Howard University. Donny Hathaway was their pianist. And when I came, he left, and then I started playing for them. So it was sort of like a natural kind of progression that I continued from a child all the way through college and, on beyond. He was one of my mentors. He had the same piano teacher at Howard. And Donny was very ahead of his time. Some of the chords that he would show me, we'd go down to the practice area and he'd show me different chords and stuff like that. Can I play that in church? Because I came from a very strict religious background. He said, man, God made those chords. That's where the chords came from. Music came from God. You could play. And then I started mixing some of the stuff that he showed me in my music when I started writing. So Donny definitely was ahead of his time. And unfortunately, I don't think he was ever appreciated in terms of the industry like he should have been. And he left us much, much too soon. I think if he lived, his star would have shone even brighter. But Donny was a genius. He was absolutely a genius.
Thank you for tuning in to the Stellar Spotlight.